make that decision right now. I'm not anyway. Thank you.
Jump for 27th target shot.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We've heard a lot of anecdotes today. I'm going to share one with you that it's going to be unlike the other anecdotes you've heard. Doesn't involve anybody that was suffering from anything. It just involves what I saw when I was visiting my younger son who lived in California for a couple of, probably 5 years. This was probably 6 to 8 years ago, and he lived in Los Angeles. At that time, medical marijuana was legal, but the state had not approved recreational marijuana. On one afternoon, we went to a place called Venice Beach, which some people referred to in those days as Muscle Beach. And you've probably, if you've watched any TV shows, you've probably seen this area where people are skating down the sidewalks in their bikinis or swimsuits. Anyway, we were walking down the boardwalk there, and I noticed on one side there's shops are lined on one side and the ocean's on the other side. And there was a shop that called itself a clinic, and beside it was a shop that called itself a dispensary. And I didn't think anything of it. We went to the next block and saw the same sort of configuration. And on the third block where I saw this, I asked my son what this was all about. And he said, that's where you go get your prescription for medical marijuana. And I said, no, it can't be that easy. He said, oh, yeah, it is. So we sat down on the bench. I was really curious, and I started watching. And right in front of the clinic was a fellow who stood out there sort of passing out flyers. And I watched, and he would hand a flyer to somebody, and then the person would go into the clinic and then come out. They'd go next door to what was, I think, called a dispensary, and they'd come out with a bag. And that went on for a while, and I got really curious as to what the guy was handing out. So I walked up to him, and I said, can I have one of those? And he said, sure. And he handed me a card, and it said, this is a medical clinic. Don't ask for marijuana unless you have these symptoms. Don't ask for a prescription. I thought, well, that's pretty subtle. Now, what moron couldn't figure out what they'd have to tell the doctor to get their prescription? So we sat there for, I guess, close to 30 minutes, and I counted 25 or so people that went into the clinic, and every one of them came out with a piece of paper and went next door into the dispensary. Now, I can't tell you that could happen here. Okay, I'm not going to predict that. I'm just going to tell you it became a joke. Medical marijuana became a joke in California and ultimately evolved into recreational marijuana. So if you're a fan of recreational marijuana, this is probably a good story. It probably gives you encouragement. Recreational marijuana, and I can't say that's going to happen here, but I'll tell you what we have seen in southern West Virginia. We've seen pill mills. We've seen people who claim to be doctors that in order to earn a large amount of money will write a prescription for opioids to anybody, just about anybody that comes in. Those places, a lot of them, fortunately, have been busted. But a lot of the misery that we see in southern West Virginia is
yeah, and he's the chair of the Judiciary Committee that any bill in the House has to go through.
I can't predict with any degree of certainty
That's who's
what's
in
going to
charge.
happen here because of how uncertain and confusing this whole process will be upon if we adopt this amendment. I can tell you that's a possibility. And that's one reason I'm going to vote no.
Jump from the third to close debate.